What is going on, guys? It is CWGaming, and I'm bringing you a brand new episode of the NCAA 14 rebuilds. And in today's episode, we have the 5-star Miami Hurricanes. And this episode was suggested by Extreme Kane, so I appreciate your suggestion. And we're going to go ahead and get right into this rebuild. We have a lot of work to do to rebuild this team. So as you see here, according to this, Miami not having a good year, and in real life as well, they've kind of fluctuated. They're not where they need to be in the ACC. They used to be a powerhouse, and so right now we are going to rebuild and get to where we want to go. So the biggest dilemma in this episode is the quarterback battle. As you see, we have 3 quarterbacks that are the same overall. We have 2 scramblers, Tate Martell, N'Kosi Perry, and then Jaron Williams, the balanced QB. So in the earlier, they're young as well, sophomores. So in the earlier kind of portion of this video, we are deciding who to play at QB. So that'll be later down the road. But we do have DJ Dallas, senior running back. And we have Harris, Lingard, and Burns as well. So we do have a little bit of room to go with the halfbacks. And the halfbacks, sophomore, senior, we do have a little room to wiggle. We have a couple sophomores, but Miami, to me, produces running backs. And so that's what we're going to try and focus on, is the running back situation. We do have a younger receiving core. We have a couple 80s and 79 overalls with the 63. So we need to work receivers a little bit. But Brevin Jordan is who I'm excited about. 92 overall tight end as a sophomore. So that's insane. And our offensive line is actually very surprising. We have a freshman or a sophomore below every starter. And even some of the starters you see are sophomores and freshmen. So our offensive line is absolute in the perfect condition. We just need to get a couple backups. As you see here, our right tackle, freshman 68. So by his senior year, he should be mid-80s. But we do have a little room to grow on the offensive line. But we're in a perfect situation on our O-line, and we can focus on other areas on the team. And I'm super excited. This team is very young. We have a lot of freshmen that are 75 overalls. So we do have room to grow. This team really will rebuild itself with a couple of key recruits. This team will be very good. So we don't have a left outside linebacker. On to the safeties. Our defense needs a little work, but within a couple of years, they'll progress themselves, and we can focus on recruiting. So you see here the playbook. We're rolling with Miami, 50-50 run offense to pass offense. So one thing that I need to learn is the defensive scheme. That's something that I felt like wasn't where it needed to be in this video for this Miami defense. So if you have any tips on defensive schemes, playbooks, let me know. Defense really isn't my cup of tea, so it's not my expertise. And it is something that I need to fix and work on. So year 1 recruiting. You see here, I've had comments on my recruiting. It's not very good. It's very hard to watch. So I am trying to, as we progress on these rebuilds, focus on how recruiting needs to go. And this is the best way for me to do it. So we scroll over and we change our interest level to first. So where it says first, those are the guys that are interested in us the most. We're first on their list. And this is how I see who's interested in us. And it would be pointless for me to go on a 3rd and 4th interest. We do that after we scout, but mainly we change the interest level and we go 1st and 2nd and we scout from there. And moving on to scouting, we've added a lot of defensive guys. Jeremy Williams, this quarterback right here, will be the next quarterback, hopefully. He's a 75, But mainly for our scouting, we're going to scout the 50 and the 60s overalls. This is where you find your gems. As you see here, Ryan Thompson, he moves up 5 overalls to a gem. And this is the strategy that we use. Another gem here, an outside linebacker, a position that we desperately need to cover because we don't have a left outside linebacker on the roster right now, and we're pulling from other linebacker positions. So that gem is crucial to the team right now. And this is I'm explaining how we do recruiting. We scout, we do the interest, and there's a couple things that you need to look for. And as this video goes on, we have another gem on our offensive line. I will show you the things to look for, but for right now, this is the way recruiting is going to look. And even editing this video, I've learned different things of how the structure of recruiting needs to look. And so just formatting wise, so even the next NCAA video that I do, that will be addressed as well. So we're getting better, we're learning things, and that's what needs to be said about that. So we have 2 gyms in a row, 2 athletes, and those are guys we're going to focus on. Mark Lucas, a halfback. Like I said, I want to focus on the halfbacks. Miami, to me, produces running backs. Just power guys that can get through the tackles, explosive guys, and so halfbacks is where I want to focus. So we do scout our quarterback for our last points. He goes down, but he's still a guy that I want to focus on for the majority of this rebuild. And now that scouting is done, we will look at the depth chart for QBs. Like I said, this is a very important decision. We have Perry, Williams, and Martell. Williams fits the scheme a little better. He's a balanced, but N'Kosi Perry caught my eye with his acceleration, his agility, and his throwing power being in the 90s. I feel like he can throw the ball very well. He's not as accurate as Williams, but I feel with his escapability, his agility, we will give N'Kosi Perry the starting job. We will see him halfway through the season. We will see what he does. If he's struggling, too bad. We will move him. But going into week 1, we have Florida on the schedule. So we will see him mid-season and see how things are going. So mid-season recruiting, this is how it is looking. We are up on Mark Lucas and Anthony Adams, the halfbacks we want. Patrick Doucette, the linebacker, the gem. That's exactly what we want. We're up on him. We're going to throw a couple of points on the center because we don't want to lose him. Marcus Parks, 5-star receiver. It's not looking very likely for him, but we'll still throw some points on him. And we have some offensive linemen that we're looking at. Ryan Fowler, we're up on him, 4-star. And that is crucial to our offensive line. Like I said, our O-line is where it needs to be, but with a couple of backups and progression from our freshmen, our O-line will be absolutely salty. And it's time to focus on the defense. We're just kind of going through, adding points to guys that we need to add to. But overall, mid-season, our recruiting is looking pretty good. I'm enjoying kind of seeing where we're at. Jeremy Williams, we're up on him from Alabama, 4-star pocket passer. So I'm excited about that. We do have a couple of outside linebackers we're looking at. And now it's time to go look at the stats. So N'Kosi Perry, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions with 600 yards. This is mid-season, so we're going to keep him, see how he does. And at the end of the year, you see we have added Jeremy Williams, quarterback, and a couple of guys in the 70s. So I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out, just simming through. We've added Anthony Adams, a running back, and Mark Lucas, another quarterback. And so we finished 5-7 at the end of year one. Kind of expected with the quarterback situation. 5-7, we finished fourth in the ACC Coastal, which was kind of expected, but this was not. Wake Forest finished 12-0. Clemson finished 10-2. Wake Forest won the ACC Atlantic, which was very weird. Pittsburgh went 11-1, so that was very unexpected. And the losses, we lost to FAU, Florida, Wake Forest, who's number 1 in the country right now. We lost to Florida State, Virginia Tech, and Duke, and Pittsburgh. So those were losses that we weren't expecting. Wake Forest is 12-0. Incredible. Great for them. We'll see how the conference championship plays out, see where they finish, but this is the losses that we had. We lost to teams that we should not have lost to. And this explains why. N'Kosi Perry, 2,100 yards with 16 touchdowns. And wait for it, 9 interceptions. So, very not where we want for a quarterback. They need to be in the 30 and 40 touchdown range, which is not where we need it to be. Dallas and Lingard, 700 yards, 600 yards. The running game was not where we needed it to be as well. And our receiving, for a quarterback play, 600 yards is decent. It needs to be a lot better than that, but for the quarterback that we had, that's fine. Defensive-wise, 88 tackles, 86, 77, and then it just drops off to 50, to 40, to 20. So this is what makes me question our defensive scheme. Is there a playbook that we need to fix? Because there's a huge drop-off of tackles, and I don't think it should be quite that bad. And we're going in the bowl projections. We're not bowl eligible, but I just want to see kind of where the league is, see where everything is. And there's some pretty interesting matchups here. Arkansas and Tulsa, A&M and Pittsburgh, Alabama, Nebraska, and the Outback Bowl, Florida and Clemson, that ought to be a good game. In the Sugar Bowl, LSU, Texas, Orange Bowl, 7-1 for LSU in conference. And national championship, LSU, Oklahoma, which Oklahoma did win. And we have players leaving. So we're in the offseason now. These are the guys leaving. We got a pretty good ratio. There's a 60, a 70 overall. So we're not losing too much that we won't be able to replace. So on to recruiting mid-season. These 4 guys right here are the guys we are going to focus on getting. And that's exactly what happens. And we finish our recruiting off with a bang. We got 4 dudes, 70s. Proud of what we did. We finished 8th in the recruiting with 22 guys. A lot of 4-stars. We got 7 4-stars. And now it's time to repeat that. Preseason year 2. It's time to set up our recruiting board to do even better than we did last year. So we have our addition, Jeremy Williams. He is a freshman this year, 74. We did grab him last year, and he is the start to our future. And our quarterbacks moved up to an 87. And this is where I'm starting to think N'Kosi Perry, he has the experience. He's a junior. He is very well capable. We need to give him time to work. But Jared Williams just makes sense to me, being a balance. He fits our style better than N'Kosi. We gave the scrambling QB a shot, a run at it. He didn't produce like we needed him to do. Jared Williams, he is a junior but sophomore, redshirted. So we're looking at him to start. Here's our running backs. We got Anthony Adams, and Mark Lucas this year, freshman. We'll probably end up redshirting them to give them an extra year to develop. Hopefully they won't transfer, but that's where we're at right now with our running backs. Our fullback, Michael Parrott, and then a 40 overall behind him, so definitely redshirting that guy. We'll redshirt the bottom 3 receivers, 59 and 60 overall, so Jordan's a junior now. We're just kind of scrolling through looking at our offensive line. We have a junior 80 and a sophomore 80, so that's great to see. We have depth at center that are 78, 79 freshmen, so super excited about that. I think we accomplished what we wanted on our offensive line. We got some key pieces to back up the guys that we have now, and they'll develop fine. We have Eric Ewan, freshman. We addressed our left outside linebacker spot that was empty, and we have some middle linebackers and some right outside linebackers that we can redshirt and progress as well. Our DBs, freshmen and sophomores, super happy about that. We have very young defensive backs to accommodate our young free safeties and strong safeties. Our sophomore kicker is 91, so we won't have to address that. And going straight into recruiting, we have a lot of linebackers, athletes, defensive tackles, defensive ends, so I'm very thrilled to see that coming out straight out of the gate. We have 3 stars, 4 stars, so Caleb Newsom caught my eye, balanced, so we're looking 3 stars. If we can sign, the majority of our class needs to be 3 stars and 4 stars. This is what we're looking at. We don't want to grab a lot of 4 stars, have them not go elsewhere. Now we're left with 12 guys to sign. So you see the second interest level, 4-star guys. These are kind of on the back burner that we're looking at. It'd be great to sign those guys, but the majority we want are 3 stars that have first interest level. That way we know we're getting a recruiting class, and as we get better as a team, we'll start getting more 4 and 5 stars. But year 2, we're looking at 3 stars. Those are the guys that we need the majority of. This is quality over quantity, and now it's on to scouting. So we're looking at players that we can get rid of, gyms that we need to go after hardcore, and we're looking Reggie Lumpkin, defensive tackles. We have a lot of defensive tackles that are interested in us, so that's good. We have a lot of depth that we can choose from. Caleb Newsom, the pocket passing, +7 overall gym. We need him on the team to go with Williams. Just keep the train rolling on our quarterbacks. Jeff Workman, that's a guy that I want, the defensive end. He's going to be very good. And just continuing scouting. This is what we want to do. We're looking at gyms, guys to get rid of. And so this is what we are doing. So we're on to redshirting. We're going to redshirt our quarterback to give him an extra year because Jaron Williams is a sophomore. Martell and Perry are juniors. So we have a lot of time to develop the other Williams before we give him the starting job. So here's our schedule. B- strength. We got a couple of good non-conferences in there, Nebraska. And so now it's time. Year 2, mid-season. This is mid-season recruiting. We got Jeff Workman and Caleb Newsom to insta-commit, as well as Reggie Lumpkin, Michael Walker, Ian Graham, Carl Thurman, Matt Fowler, Quentin Carrington, Quentin Smith. So, super happy about that. We have a pretty solid class just to start out with. So we're in week 1. It's time. We got a couple of good guys to insta-commit, and it's time to move to the middle of the year. We gave Jaron Williams, this is his first year starting as a sophomore, 800 yards with 4 touchdowns. He has a quarterback rating of 98. 4 TDs, 4 interceptions. So he's not playing well at all. But finishing 6-6 is pretty good for what we saw from Jaron Williams. We finished 6th in the ACC Coastal year 2. And we lost to Pittsburgh, Nebraska, Georgia Tech, Duke, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech. So we did lose a lot of games that we shouldn't. We actually beat Wake, who finished 3-9. So their good year is gone. We actually beat Florida State, which we lost to last year. And we finished 6-6. So we did end up with a bowl game. It's time to find out where. As you see, Heart of Dallas Bowl, Louisiana Tech is where we're projected to go. So this is a bowl game. This is our first bowl game. And we do need to win to make sure we get another contract. Florida and Clemson in the national championship. That should be an interesting game. I would watch that right now. So as you see here, we do get a Heart of Dallas Bowl game bid. We finished 3-5 in conference. Louisiana Tech finished 4-5, and we did win the Heart of Dallas Bowl, our first bowl game victory in our career at Miami. So it only goes up from here. Jaron Williams, 21 touchdowns, 13 interceptions with 2,500 yards. So he did get a little better as the year went on. He's still very young, so I'm not too worried about it. He did better than our quarterback last year, N'Kosi Perry. So that's fine with me. Burns finished with 1,000 yards. So very happy for him finishing with 1,000 yards. So receiving, Pope got very close to 1,000 with 800. Blocking did very decent. Defensive, McLeod with 102. Russo with 98. Then it goes Ewing with 75, our freshman linebacker. And then it just drops off. So, again, we need to fix the defensive scheme. We have 2 freshmen transferring due to playing time. I tried to convince them. They didn't have anything to do with it. And so, overall, we didn't lose a lot this year, which means it's going to be very rough for us in the coming future. So, approaching signing day, these are the guys we're giving a last-second push to, and we end up getting none of them. It was very disheartening. Getting those, at least a couple of those guys would have finished off a very good class for us, and we weren't able to finish on signing day, which is kind of rough because we did end up signing number 4 class in the nation, so we went up from 8 to 4 from last year, and signing those guys would have helped us out even more. But we ended up signing a pretty good class, and I'm excited to keep doing it. We've got another good class looking to go right now. We have a 5-star interest, which is good because that means 5 stars are starting to look at us now. In the coming years, we may even be able to grab a couple. And so we're just looking at 3 stars that are interested. We'll scout them out, disregard some of them, and then we'll add as they go. So we have another 5-star. He's 3rd interest level, so we'll scout him out. If he's good enough, we will throw him some points to see what we need to do with him. So here's our depth chart for quarterbacks. We have Jaron Williams, 91, Martell, 91, N'Kosi Perry, 91. So they're still the same overall, but Perry, Martell, this is their senior year. But Jaron Williams is ultimately getting the starting job again. He did decent last year, and I feel like with a year of experience, he will do very well for us this season. So, week 1, year 3, let's see exactly how this year plays out. Will the quarterbacks do what they need to do? Will this finally be our year that we start getting better? We will find out at the end of year 1. So, very happy with the way this turned out. 13th in the nation, 9-3. Exactly what we wanted to happen this year. I think we're right where we need to be. I don't think we're national championship level right now, but going from 5-7 to 9-3 is where we want to be. So Virginia Tech finished third in the nation with 10-2, 8-0 in conference, and we finished second behind them. And I'm very happy with that. We lost to Toledo week 1, but we ended up beating Nebraska, which we lost to last year, and FAU as well. We beat Western Kentucky in overtime. We beat Georgia Tech. We lost to Virginia Tech. We beat Florida State again. We beat Duke. Lost to Clemson, which was expected. We beat North Carolina and Pitt. So, very good from Jaron Williams. 33 touchdowns, 8 interceptions with 2,800 yards. That's exactly where we want him to be. He did what he needed to do this year, and I'm very excited to see those moves paying off. So again, receiving 1,000 yards for Pope. He did very well last year. He did good this year as well. So Cameron Harris, our running back with 500 yards. Very special right there. You don't see that a lot. Defense, this is what I'm talking about. Our highest tackling was 77, and it goes to 40. So there's something not right with our defense, our playbook. I need to fix that, but I don't know how. So if you have suggestions, let me know. Defense is not my cup of tea. But going into the bowl game, we obviously have one this year, and we're playing Kentucky in the Russell Athletic Bowl. 3-5 in the SEC, 6-2 in the ACC for us. I feel like we could have done a little better on the bowl game, but with the ACC bowl games, that's probably the best where we fit. UCF 9-0, going against 9-0 Oklahoma. And we did win the Russell Athletic Bowl. We sent that out and took the dub. So back-to-back bowl game wins for us. That's two bowl games in our career. And this is where it starts to get very hard for us. We're losing 99 overalls, 97 overalls. They're graduating and going to the draft, which we did convince 2 guys to stay. So we're good with that. But a lot of the guys that we're losing are 90 overalls, 80 overalls. But with these recruiting classes that we're putting together, we should be fine. With the number 7 class, we signed 25 guys. And at the beginning of year 4, I believe this is. Yeah, year 4. We have a 5-star, Chris Minor, number 1 interest. So this is what I was talking about. You have to start small with the 3 stars before you can start getting 5 stars. And changing the interest level to first, I think this is the best way to do it. We have 2 5-stars that are first interested in us. And so now that we're starting to get a little better, we're starting to finish better, we're getting better recruits. And so it's better not to get in over our heads right at season 1. And being Miami, I will say it is easier to recruit. Whereas if I was doing Miami, Ohio, or Kent State, it would take me longer. But being Miami, being in season 4, this is where we start to get 5 stars. So we should be on track. We're going to keep recruiting, keep looking at guys, keep scouting, and we'll go ahead and get into the rest of it. So week 1, we're playing Toledo, and we finished 10-2 at the end of year 4. So we finished 7-1 in conference, 10-2 overall. We tied with North Carolina, but we beat them in the conference schedule, so that's all that matters. We lost to Toledo 31-35, and we lost to Clemson, who finished number 3 in the country. We beat Notre Dame in overtime, so that's a big rivalry game that we did end up winning. So our only losses were Toledo and Clemson. So with that Toledo loss, probably messed us up a little bit, but we ended up finishing the rest of the season with W's. So we were able to fix ourselves there. Jaron Williams dominated again with 3,200 yards, 32 touchdowns. Our freshman, well, he's not a freshman anymore, but he got a little playing time. And 32-5, that's very good. Very proud of Jaron Williams in his senior year. To where he came from, the quarterback situation, I feel like we addressed it in the best way possible. We gave guys opportunities to play, but ultimately, Jaron Williams came out on top. He played very well for us, and it is time to move on to the other Jay Williams next season. So our running backs that we recruited are now getting playing time, Lucas and Adams. That's going to be a nasty duo next year. And our recruiting is starting to pay off. We're starting to see guys that we recruited get playing time, and we're on track to where we need to be. 83 tackles for Doucette, Rousseau with 82, Ewing, our linebacker, with 65, and then it goes to 40 and 30. And I understand not everybody's going to get 80 tackles, but going from 80 to 40, something's not right. And we end up making it to the conference championship against Clemson. We are not supposed to win this game. And in the fourth quarter, we're down by a touchdown, and we absolutely need to win this game if we have any shot at a national championship. We're number 4, Clemson is 3, so with a win, we move past them, and we'll have to hope that we make it. So it is crucial that we win this game if we want a national championship bid. 4 minutes to go. We're driving down the field. We're down by a touchdown. Williams drops back. His last game. Well, this isn't his last game, but he scores. And we tie the game. So with a minute and a half roughly to go, our defense couldn't hold them, and it is crucial that we score right here. We have a minute, so we're going to try. Well, we were going to try and hold it, but Hodges scores. We'll take it. We need to stop crucially from our defense, and we couldn't do it. So they score, give us the ball back in 30 seconds. We hit an out route, dangerous pass, but good direction. And with 20 seconds to go, same play, same Howard. Catches the ball, 16 seconds to go. We're making a massive drive right here. Pass rush coming. We swing it out to Ewing with 10 seconds. Howard's open again. We get out of bounds with 5 seconds to go. And with 2 seconds, last play of the game, ball is thrown to Hodges and he scores the touchdown. And we are not going to overtime. We are going to win this game in the conference championship. And we do not get the 2. Stupid play call for me. I should have seen that linebacker coming. And we lose the game. But what a game it was. It ended up getting us to the Fiesta Bowl against UCF, which we lost 23-38. So a disappointing season. Williams, senior year, we couldn't get him to where we wanted him to go. But ultimately, 10-3, it's fine with me. So we have a lot of guys leaving. We convinced Harvey to stay in his junior year. And this is what I'm most proud of. Number 3 class with 4 5-star recruits. We ended up snagging 4 5-stars. 6 4-stars, 14 3-stars, and a JUCO transfer. That's a 2-star. And these are the 5-stars we signed. Super happy about it. This class, this team is going to be nasty within the coming years. Another 5-star running back to add to our duo. In year 5, we're number 4 in the offseason or in the preseason. So typically this would be the last season, but with the gradual increase that we've done, Jeremy Williams, a junior, is a 95. So we'll have another season with him. He finishes 10-2, 7-1. We won the ACC Coastal outright. In the end of year 5, we're where we want to be. 10-2, 7-1 in conference. We lost to North Carolina and Notre Dame. So our only conference loss was North Carolina. We lost to the number 1 team in the country, so we're not too upset about it. The rivalry game, we should have won. We lost by a touchdown too. But other than that, year 5, we're where we need to be. And now it's time to see where we're going to end up. Williams, his first year as a starter, 39-5 with 3,400 yards. And our running back duo split 1,000-yard seasons. That is insane. Our backup with 18 touchdowns. Those 2 running backs are absolutely dirty, and they're young as well. So with the running back that we added, our running game is going to be nasty. So conference championship week, we're playing Clemson again, and it's time to redeem ourselves for last year. But we're going to sim it, and we ended up winning by 1 point, and it earns us a Discover Orange Bowl, which we do win. So typically, the end of year 5, this is where we would cut it. But with the recruiting classes that we've signed and back-to-back conference championship appearances, I don't feel like it is fair of me to end it. We end up getting the number 3 class again with 2 5-stars. It's time to keep going. We're going to keep seeing where we are. So, the end of year 6, we finished 11-1, 7-1 in conference, and our only loss was Virginia Tech in overtime. So without that loss, we would have been in the national championship. And it hurts, man. We weren't able to bring Miami a national championship. And our boy Jeremy Williams finished with 2 interceptions and 36 TDs. We played very well this year. This was our national championship team, and we weren't able to do it because of Virginia Tech, which sucks. But our running back, so we recruited our seniors. Our quarterback is a senior. I feel like we have done exactly what we needed to do. We ended with the Fiesta Bowl in year 6, number 3 in the country. So in today's world, we would have been in the college playoff, but we weren't able to do it. We dominated this bowl game. It wasn't even close. And this is what we accomplished. We went from 5-7 to 12-2, 12-1, 1 conference championship, and 4 bowl game victories. We finished with 56-23 as our record, and we didn't get a national championship, but I feel like with this team, with the recruiting classes that we accomplished, we'll be good for the next 4 or 5 years. If this was real life, we would be fine. We accomplished our goal, and that is getting this team to where they need to be. We weren't able to win a national championship in the process, but I think what we did was good enough for what we had, what we started with, 5 years, 6 years. This is where we need to be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Any more suggestions you have, let me know. I will do my best to accommodate to those. If you like this, leave a like. I will see you guys in the next rebuild.